What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and today I'm reviewing the second animated movie in the series titled Batman vs. Mr. Freeze in Batman SubZero. Now, this movie was released in 1998 and was actually delayed and was supposed to originally be released in 1997. However, with the release of Batman and Robin and the terrible negative response that critics had towards it, it sort of damned the reputation of Mr. Freeze. So Warner Brothers set out to fix that. And they certainly did in this movie, and it actually shows us exactly why Mr. Freeze is not necessarily a bad character, but a tortured character. Kevin Conroy reprises his role once again as Batman, and like always, he does a phenomenal job at it, having probably some of the best dialogue, but I think there's someone in this movie that actually outdoes him in a sense, and I'll get to that later. Now, although the story of this movie is not necessarily, say, as constructive as it was in Mask of the Phantasm, I definitely think it's a lot more solid than future movies that I will be reviewing in the coming weeks. And I definitely think that the stronger portions of it definitely do not focus necessarily on Batman's character, but certainly Mr. Freeze's. Now, the plot to Batman and SubZero is that Mr. Freeze has kidnapped Barbara Gordon and is going to perform a blood transfusion on her to help save his wife Nora, while Batman and Robin need to team up and discover exactly why Mr. Freeze wants to kidnap Barbara, where she is, and then rescue her, and perhaps do an extra goal in the process, but you'll have to find that out for yourself. Now, although this movie is not quite as good as, say, Mask of the Phantasm, due to the fact that it makes the same mistakes that Mask of the Phantasm made, as for taking something out of the animated series' universe and setting it aside and then not really having many connections. Because many times throughout this film, there's things that are done in terms of Mr. Freeze's characters that aren't really explained and kind of change the backstory of how we originally were told Mr. Freeze's story in the animated series. Although it is done very well. And Mr. Freeze by far has some of the best dialogue I've really heard throughout the Batman series of animated films. Also, another flaw that I had with this movie is that the animation just isn't quite up par. Now, I didn't necessarily expect something as high class as Mask of the Phantasm, but I did expect something a bit more sharper. It seems that this is maybe a little bit better than the animated series, but not much. It still has kind of the rough stiffness as the animated series, and that was a real disappointment for me. And that does tend to stand out in some scenes. Especially an action scene near the end of the movie where Batman and Robin are taking on a pair of polar bears. And although it's kind of clever how they do it, I did kind of expect it to be a lot more, say, Batman-ier. Yeah, I know that's not a word. Anyway, despite these flaws, this is still a very solid movie and better than a lot more animated films that have come out over the years. And I would give Batman SubZero a solid 7.5 out of 10. If you're someone who has not seen this movie, definitely go check it out so that you can actually understand Mr. Freeze's character and know that he's not the corny ice punic idiot he was in Batman and Robin. If you like this review, please like, comment down below, and subscribe up top to keep track of me and Batman Month. And please join me next Wednesday when I go into, well, one of the animated films I didn't particularly like all that much for specific reasons, as I review Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.